Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Design with Roosevelt. Continuing with CSWP Practice Problems, today we'll work on question 11.5. Let's take a look at this question. So in this question, unit of measurement is millimeter gram second. Like always, we need to ensure we are using the same unit of measurement in SolidWorks setting. Now looking at this question, we have a simple geometry. We have the top view of the geometry shown here. We have detail B, detail A, and a right view. My preference is to focus on a top view. I'm going to make a 2D sketch of the top view. Then I start adding dimensions and relations. And once I have a fully defined geometry, I extrude that. Finally, I will focus on making these cutouts and the holes. So with this introduction, let's jump into SolidWorks and start modeling this part. In SolidWorks, first we need to check unit of measurement. And you can see that we have millimeter gram second, which is the correct unit of measurement. Now click on a sketch, and choose top plane. Now here, all I need is a rough 2D sketch. So let's start with the line command and let's make a line here. Then I go to right, then something like this. Then I have this straight line. Then I need a curve. So I move my cursor out, I move it back to this point, and now I have curve command. Then I continue straight. Then I need another curve, so that's a curve. Then I need another curve, something like this. Then I need a straight section, something like this. Another curve. Finally going back to here and going back to the origin. Awesome, so that's a rough 2D sketch. Now that we have this 2D sketch, we need to add dimensions and relations. So let's click on Smart Dimension and let's start with this top line. The length of this line should be 8 mm. Horizontal distance from this point to this point should be 5 mm. And the vertical distance between these 2 points should be 2 mm. According to the top view, you can see that the distance between this point and origin of the geometry should be 18 mm. Also, the angle between this line and horizontal line should be 65 degrees. Let's focus on this side of the geometry. Now, let's focus on this part of the geometry. According to the top view, the distance between center point of this curve and origin of the geometry should be 10 mm. Also, the vertical distance between these 2 points should be 2 mm. The distance between this right edge and center point of the geometry should be 14 mm. According to the top view, the radius of this curve is 3 mm. Also, the diameter of this curve is 14 mm. If the diameter is 14, that means the radius should be 7 mm. The angle between this line and horizontal line should be 70 degrees, so that's 70. Okay, so far we added all these dimensions. I noticed that I missed one dimension, one curve here in this corner of the geometry. What I can do, I can simply use fillet command. If you look at the top view, you can see that the radius of the fillet should be 5 mm. So from a sketch, I click on fillet, and for the fillet, I have 5 mm radius. I click in this corner, and that's it. Okay, so far we have all the dimensions shown on the top view, but as you can see, the geometry is not fully defined. This is most probably because we are missing some constraints or relations. So let's look at the geometry and let's look at the question. If you look at this geometry, you can see that this curve has a center point, and the center point is this point. However, if you look at the question from the top view, you can see that there is no point for the center point of this curve. My interpretation is that if they're not showing the center point of this curve, that means that this center point should be right on the origin of the geometry. That's my assumption. So let's continue with that assumption because we don't have any other clue. I click on this point, I hold Control, I click on the origin of the geometry, and I choose coincident. Okay, so that's the first constraint that I added. Also, looking at the geometry, you can see that it seems like this point and the center point of this curve are in line with the origin of the geometry. If you look at the question, you can see that this straight line almost ends right in front of this origin point. So what I can do, I can click on this point, hold Control, click on the origin of the geometry and choose horizontal relation. And now this part of the geometry is also constrained. Again, this is my assumption based on what I'm seeing on a drawing. They didn't specifically mention this point, and this is just an assumption. Okay, what else can we find in this geometry? If you look at the top view, you can clearly see that we have a dashed line showing that this point and this point should be in line. So what I can do, I can select this point, I can select this one, and from the relations, I'm going to choose horizontal relation. And now you can see that both of these are on the same horizontal plane. Okay, if I draw a center line from here to here, you can see that I'm going to have a straight line, which means that they are both on the same plane. Okay, so we added this constraint as well. However, the geometry is still not fully defined. We need to make another assumption. If you look at the top view, it seems like that the center point of this line, the top line, should be in line with origin of the geometry. So let's add that assumption. Right click, select midpoint, hold Control, select origin of the geometry and choose vertical. And now by adding this relation, you can see that more edges are getting fully defined. But we still have 3 parts of the geometry that are not fully defined. Last assumption that I want to make here. I know there are lots of assumptions here. Unfortunately, that's the case for this question. It's not ideal, but sometimes we need to make some sort of decision when we are doing these modelings. The last assumption I want to make is, if you look at the geometry, it seems like the length of this line and this line is same. So basically we have some sort of symmetry going on here. So what I can do, I can select this line, hold Control, select this line, and from the relations, I'm going to choose equal. And now by adding this constraint, we have a fully defined geometry. I know it's not ideal, but we had to make 4 assumptions in order to make this geometry fully constrained. This is typical. We see this in this problem set and other problem set that we worked on. So it's not something new. When you work on all the dimensions, when you add all dimensions, when you add all reasonable relations, and still your geometry is not fully defined, that means that you have to make some assumptions. And here we made 4 assumptions. So now we have a fully defined geometry. It's time to use extrude bus command. Click on feature, click on extrude bus. According to the right view, we need 4 mm thickness. So change the thickness to 4, click on OK, and that's it. Awesome. So that's the base of the geometry. Now it's time to focus on the cutout features and the holes. So let's click on a sketch and choose this top surface. If you look at detail A, you can clearly see that in order to make the holes and cutouts, it's best to take advantage of a circle. This circle is shown with a dashed line on detail A. So what I can do, I can click on circle command and I'm going to make a circle here. And let's change this to construction circle. Okay, the radius of the circle should be 9 mm, which means that the diameter should be 18 mm. First, I want to focus on a cutout tangent to this circle. What I can do, I can take advantage of a slot command. So from a sketch, I click on a straight slot. And I'm going to make a slot here. It is obvious from the drawing that this slot should be tangent to the circle. So I select here, I hold Control, I select the circle, and I choose tangent. The distance between the center point of this circle and center point of the right circle should be 5 mm. The height of the slot is 4 mm. And finally, we want the center point of this slot to be in line with the origin. So what I can do, I can select this center point, hold Control, select origin of the geometry, and choose vertical. And now we have a fully defined geometry. Next, let's focus on a right cutout here. In order to make this cutout, I'm going to take advantage of arc command and offset command. So in order to do this, from a sketch, I click on arc command, I click on the center point of the geometry, and I'm going to make an arc shape like this. The radius of this arc should be 7 millimeters. Click on center line, and let's make a center line from this point to origin and to this point. According to detail B, we need 50-degree angle. So I click here, and I define 50-degree angle. And now I have a fully defined arc. Now, looking at detail B, you can see that the width of this cutout should be 4 millimeters. In order to make this second arc, I'm going to take advantage of offset command. So from a sketch, I click on offset entity. And I change the length to 4, and I click on this arc. And now you can see the preview of the other arc. Now here's the interesting point. You can click on OK and have this arc, and then you can add 2 lines to close this contour. Or the other option is within the offset command. If you look at here, you can see that there are multiple options, and one of the options that we have is cap end. If I click on cap end, you can see that SolidWorks automatically try to close this contour. Now here SolidWorks selected arc because for type of cap we have arc. If you change it to line, now SolidWorks added 2 straight lines to close this contour. This is a faster way to make this cutout. Click on OK, and that's it. Awesome, so now we have this geometry fully defined. Last step for me is to define the location of the hole, because I'm going to use hole wizard command and I need to know where to put those holes. So I click on point command. The first location is obvious, that's the origin of the geometry. So I put 1 point here, and the second point should be somewhere here. Now according to detail A, the vertical distance between this point and origin of the geometry should be 6 millimeters. And the horizontal distance between the point and origin of the geometry should be 7 millimeters. So now we have these points fully defined. Everything is ready to extrude cut this geometry. So click on feature, click on extrude cut. Of course, there are 2 contours in this geometry. Points are not really important, and you can see that we are cutting to the other surface. Click on OK, and that's it. Now looking at detail B, you can see that we need fillet for these corners. So what I can do from feature, I click on fillet command, I change the radius to 1, I select this corner, this one, and this one. Click on OK, and that's it. Awesome, so now we have the cutouts made in this geometry. Last step is to focus on making the holes. In order to make the holes, I need to know the location of the holes, and I already defined that location in a previous sketch. So what I need to do, I need to click on this drop down menu, then click on the sketch, and let's show this sketch because I want to use that sketch. Okay, now let's look at this from top view. First, let's focus on the hole on center point of the geometry. From feature, click on hole wizard, and here first we need to have a counter bore hole, so make sure the counter bore is selected, and symmetric, that's correct. And we need pan cross head, so click on the drop down menu, and here you can see that we have pan cross head. Click on it. The size should be 2.5 millimeters, so click here, M 2.5. Now click on position, click on this surface, and simply select the origin of the geometry. Click on OK, and that's it. Again, repeat this process. Click on the hole wizard. The type of the hole is exactly the same, so I'm not going to change anything here. I just change the size from M2.5 to M2. Click on position, click on this surface, and I'm going to place the hole right on this point. Click on OK, and that's it. Awesome. So that's the final geometry. We have the base of the geometry, we have 2 cutouts, and we have 2 holes. Now it's time to check the volume and make sure that this model is correct. Let's go back to the question and check the volume in the question. In the question, you can find the volume here. The total volume for this question is 1,827.6 cubic millimeters. Let's go back to SolidWorks and check the volume for our model. in SolidWorks, in order to check the volume, you can click on Evaluate and then Mass Properties. And here you can find the total volume. The total volume for our model is 1827.6 cubic millimeters. This is exactly the same as the number that we found in a question, which is showing our model is correct and there's no problem with it. Okay, awesome. That's it. That's a wrap for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comment about this video, please leave comments down below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Ruzbe. Hope to see you again soon in the next videos.